Welcome into the End of Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman, and we are taking a look at the feature race on the Thursday card. It's the Grade 3 Appalachian, presented by the Japan Racing Association, and a good field of 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf. A lot of different ways that could go in here, and I had a tough time making the call. Who did you land on?
Well, I've been betting against Mr. Ramsey the entire meet, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to win this Grade 3. I like Kitten Caboodle. I think the last work on April the 11th on the Poly was very tight, and Chad Brown trains this one for Mr. Ramsey. Maker's been a little bit cold, but I think Chad's still doing well. He's 3 for Ken at the meet going into the day, and I think Kitten Caboodle at 8-1 is a great price with Johnny Velasquez. You might not get 8-1, but I'm going to take her on top. The other two horses that I like are shipping in from overseas, La Carolina and Sweet Acclaim. And I can make a case for either one of those. Chad Brown trains Sweet Acclaim and Rosie rides. And then Mark Cassey trains La Carolina. And the horse is very competitive. Won a Grade 3 in France last November. So you always got to look at foreign horses. This one's 4 for 7. The horse I would play underneath the other American horse is Recepta for James Toner and Joel Rosario. Ran well at Belmont last year, won a turf race by 1 3/4 at Belmont after starting dead last, and hopefully she's ready for the races to come back to Keeneland after a 6-month layoff. But I think Mr. Ramsey is my pick on top here. I'm going against the trend and saying Kitten Caboodle will be ready.
I'm going to take Recepta, and as I said, there were a lot of different ways I considered going. This horse won its debut on the dirt at Saratoga and was bet pretty heavily, I think down to 2-1. So obviously there was a lot of quality there, and Jimmy Toner's not a guy who generally wins on dirt debuts at Saratoga. Probably more noted as a guy who wins with his turf runners, and so this filly got onto the turf, and you mentioned her race at Belmont. That was her only turf race, looked really good in an allowance race. So now they're making the move into stakes company here on the turf, and I think that she can be certainly ready to go off the layoff, and I think is a filly that has a good bit of quality there. So I'm going to take a shot with Recepta. Sweet Acclaim and La Carolina are definitely the two to look at in here as well for me. Sweet Acclaim, it looks like, worked in company with Kitten Caboodle in that April 11th work because they both worked 47 on the same day for half a mile. So I'm guessing that it's going to be that those two work together and that either one could have a big chance. But I'm going to key on Recepta, and then I'm going to do an exacta box with Recepta, Sweet Acclaim, and La Carolina, 1, 3, and 4. Just an exacta box with those three. Resistivity is the other one I took a look at. Turf debut was her best. She had a horrible post in the Ashland, and now Le Peru is riding her back here. And I think we'll run certainly much better than she did in the Ashland, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough to win or not. But if you go to a 4-horse box, I'd maybe include her. Let's look at the pick 4 for races 6, 7, 8, and 9 on the Thursday card. Starts with a 1.5 mile turf race. Who did you start your pick 4 with there, Jim?
I thought this race was a little tough. I like Draw 2, the 4 horse is my top pick for Grand Motion and Rosario, and 5-2. That may be a single in here, but I'm going to say that I'm going to also need to use Global Express, the 2 for Velasquez and Hatfield, and Formidable Heart, the 7, who's my kind of long shot in here for Darren Miller. I think if you go back in Formidable Heart's past performances, he won here at 1.5 miles at Keeneland, and that's always key. 1.5 miles is a different distance, and Formidable Heart might be the price in here. So I'll go 3 deep with 2, 4, 7. Then in the 7th race, Mako Light would be a single for me if I was going light on this ticket. I think Kellen Gorder really puts his horses where he needs to be. He's 25% this year, and this filly with Le Peru coming off a 5-furlong tightener at Gulfstream Park, stretching out to 6 furlongs, has had some success at the Poly. Won at Arlington Park in her maiden debut last September. So I think she's capable of running on the Poly as well as on the turf. The other horses I would use in here in a bigger ticket are the 2, Henny Jenny, and the 4, Tamazula. In the 8th race, I would use the 4 horses that I talked about. I would use the 3, La Carolina, the 4, Sweet Acclaim, the 1, Recepta, and my favorite pick, the 7, Kitten Caboodle. And then in the last race, I would only go too deep. I would use the 2-horse Alaskan Bird and the 10-horse Shy Rosa. So not too expensive a ticket, depending on how you go in that second leg, but 3 by 3 by 4 by 2 is $36 ticket, so that's not too expensive today.
I'm starting out with a spread-out race here in the 6th. Bellarmine was a horse I liked a little bit, third off the layoff for McPeak, who's very good on the dirt-to-turf angle. And I think this horse out of an Alydar mare will like the marathon distance. But I'm going to use Bellarmine the 8, Comes the Dream 6, Draw 2 the 4, Dream Man 1, 2 Global Express, and the 5 Colbert. So 6 horses there. Then in the 7th, I like Tamazula, I like Mako Light, and I like E Built This City, who's run well here before. So 5, 4, and 1. Then the 4 I mentioned in the Appalachian, and so that's a pretty hefty ticket if you use more than 1 in the last race. So I'm just going to single Shy Rosa the 10. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 with 1, 4, 5 with 1, 3, 4, 9, and then single the 10 Shy Rosa in the last race. I wouldn't be supremely confident heading into that single, but to keep the ticket manageable, that's how I'll let it stack up for Thursday. Friday, another stake race on the card, the Double Dog Dare. And then we've got the Coolmore Lexington headlining the Saturday card. No racing Sunday because of Easter. A reminder again, want to keep reminding you about Keeneland Select Appreciation Day that's coming up on Saturday. So make sure if you're listening to this podcast, you know about Keeneland Select and take advantage of that opportunity. And Jim, best of luck on your picks. Best of luck to all our listeners. And we'll be back tomorrow to take a look at the Friday feature and late pick 4 here on the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.